September 15th, 1940. 11 minutes past 11 in the morning. On the southeast coast of England, the sea looks calm, almost polite. A thin wind slides over the grass near a squat concrete hut, its windows blacked out, its doors sealed tight. Inside, the air smells of hot dust and stale tea. Machines hum, not loudly but constantly, like insects that never sleep. For years, men like Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding had been mocked for this place. Too experimental, too fragile, too strange to trust with a nation's survival. Radar, they called it. At this hour, a young plotter named Eleanor Hayes presses a wooden marker onto a vast table map. Her hands are steady, but her jaw is tight. She's not looking at the sky. She's looking at echoes, pale green blips crawling across a glass screen. They are coming again. Across the channel, hundreds of German bombers have lifted into the air, engines synchronized like a single metallic heartbeat. Their crews believe the same thing they believed all summer, that Britain is blind. That surprise belongs to them. They have been told radar cannot see clearly, that it breaks down in bad weather, that it lies. Inside the hut, Eleanor hears a telephone ring. Then another. Voices overlap. Calm, clipped, practiced. This is not chaos. This is choreography. She moves a marker. Then another. Red arrows for enemy tracks. Blue blocks for squadrons waiting on the ground. You can almost feel the tension stretch, like wire pulled tight. Somewhere inland, at an RAF airfield still wet with morning mist, Flight Lieutenant Thomas Reed is pulling on his gloves. He does not hear the bombers. He does not see them. But he knows. A runner shouts his name. Bandits incoming, scramble in 2 minutes. Reed freezes for half a second, just long enough to remember the laughter he heard months earlier. Senior officers dismissing radar as a toy, a scientist's fantasy, a peacetime distraction. Now the toy is pointing straight at the enemy. Outside, engines cough to life. Propellers slice the air. The sky, still blue and innocent, has no idea what is about to tear through it. The bombers believe they are unseen. The defenders already know their altitude, their heading, their numbers. The air war is about to change, whether the attackers understand it or not. The first Hurricanes lift off just before noon, their wheels leaving the ground in uneven rhythm. Thomas Reed feels the familiar pull in his chest as the aircraft climbs. The engine's roar fills his skull, drowning out every other thought. For a moment, the war becomes simple again. Airspeed, altitude, horizon. Then the radio crackles. Vector 095, Angels 15. Reed blinks. He has not seen a single enemy aircraft. The sky ahead is empty, pale blue, almost peaceful, and yet the voice from the ground speaks with quiet certainty, as if the bombers are already visible, already measured. He turns. The squadron turns with him. Miles away, Eleanor Hayes slides another marker across the table. The bombers are adjusting course, trying to slip between coverage zones. They think they have found a gap. They always think that. Her supervisor leans in, his finger tracing a line that does not exist on any map. Radar to filter room to operations, operations to sector stations to pilots in the air. It is an invisible net, stretched across southern England, tightening by the minute. Before the war, commanders argued that pilots should patrol freely, trusting their eyes. Radar, they said, would clutter decision-making, slow it down, create hesitation. Instead, it has done the opposite. No fuel is wasted on blind searching. No squadrons circle uselessly. Every climb has a purpose. Every turn is deliberate. Reed spots them suddenly, dark specks against the sun, growing larger by the second. Bombers, dozens of them. He feels a chill run through him, not fear exactly, but awe at how precisely he has been guided to this point in the sky. So that's how they knew, he mutters unheard. The bombers hold formation, unaware that the moment of surprise is already gone. Their gunners scan the wrong angles. Their leaders expect fighters to appear late, if at all. Instead, the RAF dives out of the glare like a closing fist. There is no triumph in Reed's chest as he presses the trigger. Only focus, only urgency. Tracers streak past wings and fuselages. Smoke blooms where metal should be. A bomber slips out of formation, wounded, falling behind. Below, England waits. Factories, homes, streets full of people who will never know Eleanor's name, or Reed's, or the men hunched over glowing screens miles from the coast. They will only know this. Some bombers will not return. And somewhere over the channel, German air crews begin to sense it. Not as a theory, not as a report, but as a creeping dread. They are being found too easily. By early afternoon, the pattern is impossible to ignore. At a Luftwaffe airfield near Calais, crews gather around returning aircraft, counting holes instead of victories. Fuel trucks idle longer than expected. Some bombers come back alone, their formations shattered. Others do not come back at all. Hauptmann Ernst Keller stands near the runway, helmet tucked under his arm. He has flown combat since Poland. He trusts numbers, planning, timing. Today, none of it makes sense. How did they know? A navigator asks quietly. No one answers. Back in England, the operations room is louder now, but never frantic. Chalk taps the board. Phones ring and stop. Squadrons are cycled in and out like parts on an assembly line. Aircraft land, refuel, rearm, and rise again, sometimes within minutes. This is not luck. This is design. The system was built to bend, not break. Radar stations damaged in the morning are already patched by afternoon crews. Power lines are rerouted. Data flows around gaps like water finding a new channel. For the men flying, it feels almost unreal. Thomas Reed lands, engine ticking as it cools. The ground crew swarm the aircraft before the propeller fully stops. One points to a torn panel on the wing. Another shouts over the noise, already waving him forward for a quick refuel. "You're up again in 20. Reed nods, too tired to speak. He glances toward the distant horizon, where smoke smudges the sky. Somewhere out there, German crews are asking the same question again and again. Why are we always met? Inside a command bunker, a senior officer listens to reports stack up. Intercept successful. Loss is heavy for the attacker. What began as an experiment before the war has become the spine of national defense. Radar does not fight. People do. But radar tells them where to be, when to rise, when to wait. By the end of the day, later remembered as the turning point of the Battle of Britain, the truth settles in like ash. The sky over Britain is no longer open territory. And the bombers that do return carry something heavier than damage. They carry certainty. The enemy is watching. All the time. Night falls, but the work does not slow. In a coastal radar station, the lights stay low and red. The operator's eyes ache. Coffee goes cold and untouched. Outside, the tall steel towers of the chain home stand rigid against the dark, cables humming softly in the wind. These towers were once ridiculed as landmarks for enemy bombers, easy targets, useless once destroyed, but they are still standing. When one station goes silent, another overlaps its vision. When a screen flickers, a phone call fills the gap. The system absorbs damage the way a living thing absorbs pain, never gracefully, but effectively. Eleanor Hayes rubs her eyes and straightens her back. She has not seen the sky all day. She does not know if it is clear or clouded, calm or burning. Her world is narrowed to lines, dots, and voices. A new contact appears, faint, high altitude. She hesitates, just a breath, long enough to feel the weight of it. If she's wrong, fighters will waste fuel chasing ghosts. If she is right, lives below might be spared. She marks the table. Across the country, Thomas Reed is airborne again, flying on instinct now, exhaustion riding on his shoulders like lead. He no longer questions the instructions from the ground. The system has earned his trust in blood and smoke. He remembers the early days of the war, when pilots roamed the sky, hoping to stumble onto the enemy first, hoping to be lucky. Luck is no longer part of the plan. For the German crews, the day has become something else entirely. The tension is different. Every minute over England feels exposed. Every heading change feels watched. They came to break a nation. Instead, they are being worn down by precision. Radar screens glow, telephones click. Engines start and stop in a rhythm that does not care about fatigue or fear. This is not a miracle. It is endurance. And endurance, once proven, is terrifying. Weeks pass. Then months. The bombers still come, but not with the same confidence. Routes change, numbers thin. Escorts linger longer than planned, burning fuel they cannot afford to waste. Missions are aborted halfway across the channel, not because of weather, but because something feels wrong. They can sense it now. The sky over Britain listens. In London, factories continue to turn out aircraft at a relentless pace. Not in bursts of heroism, but in shifts, night and day. Rivets hammered, wings fitted, engines tested and rolled out again. Losses are replaced faster than expected, faster than believed possible. The air war becomes a contest of systems, not bravado. Radar feeds command. Command feeds pilots. Pilots buy time. Time feeds production. And the loop closes, again and again. Eleanor Hayes finally steps outside just before dawn one morning. The horizon is pale gray. The towers behind her stand quiet for now, their work done for the night. She exhales, realizing she's been holding her breath for hours. Somewhere, Thomas Reed sleeps on a cot, boots still on, knowing the phone could ring at any moment. He no longer thinks about whether radar works. That question belongs to another world, another time. Across the channel, planners revise their estimates, then revise them again. The expectation of collapse fades, replaced by a colder realization. Britain is not blind, Britain is organized. The laughter that once followed radar demonstrations is gone. In its place is silence, and empty seats at briefing tables where crews used to sit. The bombers that never returned did more than crash into fields or water. They took with them an assumption that modern war could still be won by force alone. It could not. Not when a nation learned how to see first,